Okay, here we go. I'm going to tell you that you're on speaker, and we have Commissioner Lori Johnston, Commissioner Dwayne Simons. We have Andy Short, Mary Jo Lohman, Candace Hampton, and videoing is Mary Furlong. Jane Eby will be here shortly, and Natalie Black.
Let me just tell you.
Okay.
I'll be in hold.
Okay.
So this is the Hollenback court order. So the scenario we find ourselves today is a little bit unorthodox, and I'll kind of explain why, and then kind of tell you what I'm using this meeting for, and then how I think we should approach it moving forward. Our office received a letter from Natalie Black from Warden Thane on November 3rd asking for comment on this court order. So part of a court order division says that the governing body will provide comment. And so that's really the purpose of this hearing. So that was November 3rd. I contacted her on November 16th just to try to get more information. On November 16th, Warden Thane disclosed that the court order was approved on the 9th. So we received request for comment on the 3rd. Court order was approved on the 9th. And so that's what you have in front of you, right? You have this court order. And if you look at, so the first paragraph, right? If you look at the last sentence in the first paragraph, the court order says, having reviewed the petition after receiving comment by Mineral County Planning Board and good cause of hearing, and then here's the court order. So at that point, I was like, this seems unorthodox, right? So then I wrapped Ellen into it. Ellen carefully reads the court order and says, "Hey, says we have comment from Mineral County. Could you provide the minutes from the court or something to that effect?" So back and forth. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Amy.
Some kind of back and forth took place, and I thought Ellen was going to. I thought there was going to be more on Ellen's part, so I just kind of was like, okay, hey, this is, now the attorneys are talking, right? So I'm going to step aside and let them hash it out. But now Ellen's in a situation where she doesn't have administrative staff, and so it's like I understand the quietness on her end of it. And so I think at some point Natalie requested that, kind of gave us a timeline, like, hey, can you provide comments by a certain date? And I said, well, the soonest that we can provide comments is I got to get us on the agenda for today, right? It's the soonest I can get us on the agenda. And through the process, right, like not really knowing like who I'm talking to as far as like who's in charge and who's going to present, and so at one point I was like, hey Jane, are you going to present, right? Because she's going to be the most knowledgeable about the project. So Jane's here on short notice as well. But I guess we're
she's kind of giving you the same look that we've been giving you.
My goal is a couple things today. It's to like put this all on the record, right? Because there's a court order, right? That's saying this is done, and I need to get it on the record. That's like, hey, no, this hasn't been done. So that's one thing. Just get it on the record. Make you guys aware of it. Allow for your comment, and then basically have the project presented to us, right? Because I have like a very peripheral view of it. Jane came in and talked to me last summer briefly. That went out the window, one ear out the other. and then another reason is just to like get it in process, right? So now you guys have had a chance to hear it. If you have any comments, fantastic. If you want to just say, hey Andy, provide comments, basically like, hey, our comment is the planner provides comments. I'm more than fine taking it from there. And then kind of establishing a time frame to do that. And so as far as like the details are concerned, at this point, I want to kind of turn it over to Jane to kind of to just talk about the court order.
And actually, Natalie's going to be discussing the court order. By the way, I introduced myself, and I know I didn't sign in because you had already started. I'm Jane Evie. Oh, thank you. And I'm a land surveyor, professional land surveyor, and I'm originally from this area and moved away, and I have officially moved back here as of March, so I am now a Mineral County resident and happy to be here. And then I'll let Natalie introduce herself.
Hi, Commissioners. I apologize I was late. I drove in from Missoula, and of course the roads were not great, so I apologize for being a little late here. But my name is Natalie Black. I'm an attorney at Board and Thane in Missoula. I've been working with the Hollenback family for several years now, since their mother, Shirley Hollenback, passed away. This has to do with the property, their family ranch out in Tarkio. I'm probably repeating something, so I apologize if these are things that Andy already said that I missed. So what is put forth is in front of you today is a partition for division of land having to do with Shirley Hollenback's family trust. In her trust agreement, she wanted all 5 of her children to be able to choose 20 acres of property from the Tarkio Ranch area to be able to take that land as their own as part of their inheritance. So that's really what we did here is with Jane's help and the kids each chose, all 5 children, there's 5 of them, chose their 20 acres, and this court proceeding was to affect that transfer of land. So there is a statute that allows for the division of land by court order. It doesn't go through any sort of subdivision review, doesn't necessarily require a survey. It requires a court order agreeing to the division of land. As part of that process, and Jane here has copies of
The court order and the exhibits that were part of the court order and the trust,
yes.
the trust documents. These copy for each.
And if it's all right, I
commissioners.
can pass these along to you.
I made 4 sets.
Okay. You need thanks, Jane.
Yeah.
We're missing one, Commissioner.
Are we missing a commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, all right.
Yep, Roman is gone today,
Then
so.
Andy did I leave a set for us?
I don't think so. We'll take that one. But in that petition and what's attached to it is a copy of the trust, of Shirley Hollenback's trust, of what she would like for the division of land. The petition puts forth all the information about how all the family members have agreed to the division of land. We have a non-judicial settlement agreement that's allowed by trust code to have everybody agree to this and put this forth in a court order. That was mailed to the court and I believe filed around the November 2nd. As part of this, the court is required to send notice of the petition to the governing body of the county and allow for comment. So just to streamline that process, I went ahead and did that and told the court that in my petition, and that's where Andy got a letter from me with a copy of the petition and had all the information that the court also got. And then what happened was, and I'll let Jane talk about, maybe the specifics of the division itself and be able to highlight, go through the map with you. But real quick, the judge, Dusty J. Shaw, was our judge on this, and he signed the order faster than I would have expected. I think any of us expected. So we did get a court order already dividing this land, but of course we didn't actually receive comment yet from the commissioners on this. So that's what Andy graciously put this forth as an agenda for today so that we could talk with you guys about it. And about this division of land. And my hope today is that we can go through this and collect your comments today. And then we can provide that to the court and get an amended court order. Because as it stands right now, the court order that we have from the judge says that you received that the judge received comment from the governing body of Mineral County, which of course they have not. So my goal here today is hoping to get your comments and I can provide that to the court and get an amended court order. So this was something we were hoping to be able to get resolved by the end of the year for the purposes of getting this land out to the children and out of the trust before the end of the year. So there is a little bit of time is of the essence to get this accomplished. And so I apologize to potentially put you on the spot, but that's our hope today is to be able to get some comments. And I think it can be as simple as even getting minutes from today's meeting and be able to provide that to the court. So I don't think there's anything official we need, just something something that shows your comments and that Mineral County has reviewed this. So Jane, unless you have any questions for me right now, I'll turn over to Jane if you want to go through the division, because there is 4 parcels that are created.
The exhibit to look at that explains it the best would be this one right here. And essentially, 2 of the parcels were irregular shape. So the only reason that I, as a surveyor, got pulled into the court order was because they were irregularly shaped. They needed a legal description. So we had to survey these 2 pieces here and write a legal description for the court partition. The other 2 parcels over here we haven't surveyed because we don't have to. They can be described what's called an aliquot part. They're the north half of the southeast of the northwest. So that doesn't have to be surveyed. And the administrative rules that implement the Subdivision and Plating Act are pretty explicit, where it says a court-ordered division of land does not have to be surveyed and does not have to have a certificate of survey filed with the county. So that's why there's no certificate of survey. This exhibit here is just the survey that we had to do for the courts for the 2 irregular pieces, so we could write a legal description for the court order. So that was my involvement as a surveyor, was just the 2 boys identified what they wanted, and then we went out and surveyed it. And ultimately, if a survey gets filed, it's just going to be a retracement of the division of land.
And just to clarify, I did mention that there's 5 children. This court order is only dividing into 4 parcels for 4 of the children. Mary Jo Lohman's one of the co-trustees of the trust, received her 20 acres from her parents before mom passed away.
Before both of them.
Before, yeah.
Just so you guys are aware, I'm not ready to provide comment today. I got a billion other things going on. I'd like to spend some time on this. But if you guys want to provide comment and shuttle it through, whatever you want to do, certainly. So you've got a court order right now.
Yes.
So could you take this up to the recorder and file this?
Yes. So we are prepared to do that as soon as we receive your comment. And just because the court order isn't 100% correct, because the judge did not receive comments from the commissioners, I would like to ask the court to do an amended order. So we have the deeds ready to go. They're just ready for to be able to attach the amended court order that we'll be asking for once we receive the comments. But yes, in theory, right now we could go and do that. And that was the plan until I heard from you and went, okay, well, this is a problem. We should get your comments. I want to make sure we're doing everything correct and making sure we allow the opportunity for comment. Of course, with the hope that we could get some comments today, if the commissioners were comfortable doing that, so that we could get this done before the end of the year. This was given to my letter to the planning department, or I don't think it was addressed specifically to Andy, but to the planning board. Was dated November 2nd, so we've already had about 6 weeks that this has been in the hands of Andy. And so with respect, I would just hope that we could move forward with this, because this has already kind of been sitting around, and we've had the court order since November 8th, and we have graciously been waiting for this opportunity today in front of you before we actually recorded the deeds as out of respect for the county.
I'd like to say something about, as far as concerns or issues with the survey, all the parcels are at least 20 acres or larger now. And I'm sure you've seen enough subdivision surveys come through that sanitation doesn't kick in unless they're under 20 acres net. So there's no issue with sanitation out here. I mean, those are really good soils. They all have access. The court order is going to be creating, or did create, I should say, the access to Dan and Dave's piece. Kathy's piece is accessed by an existing private road, and Jim and Kathy are working out the details to extend that across Kathy's piece to his piece. So there's no concern as far as access goes. There's no concern as far as sanitation goes. And those would probably be the primary concerns I would think that the planning office would look at as far as any issues or comments for the division.
Yeah, and Natalie, just to kind of speak to your comment about the 6 weeks, I explained to the commissioners the timeline, the things that we received. So yeah, it was submitted for comment on the 3rd, and then I believe on the 16th you were like, hey, it's been approved, and that was on the 9th.
Yeah, so you had reached out to me and left me a voicemail, and we weren't able to connect over the phone, and I felt, you know what, you should know that we already got the court order, so that I believe was around the 16th by email that I forwarded that to you, so that's probably the first time you were aware that there was a court order, but you had had the petition since you received my letter in the mail. I know my letter was dated November 2nd. I'm not sure what day you received it. I know mail can take a little bit longer than normal right now.
So yeah, at that point, when I saw it was a court order, I brought Ellen into the conversation. She responded to you, and at that point I was like, okay, hey, this is in the hands of lawyers at this point. And so I dropped it, and I don't even know if I could get to this within 6 weeks, just with our workload, just so you're aware. If you're like, hey, you've had this for 6 weeks, it's like, well.
I appreciate that, and
and
now knowing that in the future, in particular, in every county is different, so every time I go to a new county and do this partition action, it's a little bit different. So Andy, I appreciate your comments on that, and I will keep that in mind for future partition actions to notify you sooner, because we, of course, we're working on this for some time and making sure that we got all the siblings agreement before we had filed this. So, and I think that's the reason why the court signed an order so quickly, is because it really, to a court, of course, this is very straightforward. All the family members agreed. We presented everything so well with Jane's help to be able to show exactly what the parcels are being created, and all the family's agreement, and laid out the law so well. Not to toot my own horn, but I just think that's why the judge did it moved so quickly on this, and it might have just didn't allow enough time for comments. And I recognize that that's a problem.
And I will say, I have never seen a court-ordered division of land go through the courts that fast. I was shocked. I mean, we never expected to get it back that quickly.
Yeah. So I think we're going to. I will say I the court should have the comments, but the comments will not necessarily change the judge's order. I think we will still have the same outcome unless there's some glaring issue, and that's what I was hoping Andy would be able to provide today if there was some glaring problem that he could see from this. But I understand that you would like more time. However, I just see this as the same outcome, and we're just hoping to get some comments on the record today. Even if it's that the county does not have any comments, I can provide that to the court as well.
My comment is Andy's the land person and he knows, the law and everything, and I just assumed he had the say in what was going on. I personally don't see a problem, but I'd like to Andy's weigh in on it.
Normally Andy does make the comments on this kind of thing. How long, Andy, would it take?
I was just trying to contemplate that. I don't. Is 2 weeks
You need to explain why it went.
reasonable?
I think 2 weeks we would be fine waiting for that, because then that would still, let's see, so today's the 10th, then we could still get this done before the end of the year, and I'd really appreciate that, if that would work with your schedule.
And so what would we would provide you comments?
Yes,
And
yep,
then
so if you give me your written comments, I will take that to the court and ask for an amended court order, and I will keep you apprised of everything as we go through that process, so you're aware. So, and I will reach out to I think as far as, that's all I need from the county is just to get your comments, and I can handle it from there. And I think with working with the Judge Deshaw's judicial assistant and knowing that there isn't any objections to the amended order, we should be able to get it relatively quickly to get this done before the end of the year. That's our goal. So if you need, I think 2 weeks is absolutely reasonable, if that works for you.
That'll work.
That'll work.
I'd feel more comfortable going that route than.
Now, does that mean, I just asking a question here, is the commissioners approving his comments to go directly to me at this meeting? Okay, just want to make sure. So if we needed to schedule a follow-up meeting.
As your agents.
Yes.
Because the law says the governing body has to respond. And the law, even though, without sounding flippant, the courts only allow comment. They don't, the county has no jurisdiction over the division of land. So no matter what's commented, the courts could either accept it or throw it out. I mean, because the judge has the ultimate power to say, yes, we agree with this comment, no, we don't. So that's why I was trying to explain that, to be perfectly honest, there really is no, I myself, unless Andy's got something that he can think of, I cannot think of anything as a surveyor that is an issue with this division. They all are in good soils for sanitation. They all have access. They're all 20 acres or greater. I can't envision any kind of concern that the county would have with this particular division of land.
But you're okay with 2 weeks and give us a chance to look at it and provide.
I personally won't be here. I'm leaving this week, and I'll be gone through the holidays. But
Yes.
but there's no participation from me any further that I can think of. That you would need a surveyor, because that part's done.
Or is it flagged up in the field at all?
Flag?
Yes.
Stakes or anything?
Yes. Yeah.
Some of the things are kind of knocked over from the cows. There's permanent
There's
ones out there,
yeah.
and if you want, I can meet you over there too.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
show
say,
you
Mary
Yeah.
Jo lives out there, so she can help show you around. And Jane, will you be available by phone?
Oh,
during this
yes,
period?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you need help on the ground, Mike will be here. He's not going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, so we're available to you if you need us. And you can call me or Jane, and we'll arrange
It's
it
pretty
with
well
you.
marked, but I can show you which parcels and show you all that.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So in the future, we get these surveyor. When we do get them, I would prepare a staff report for you, right? And it would kind of describe it.
Right.
You'd be able to see it ahead of time. So this is just unorthodox, just to expedite it, because it's a little odd the way it came in, so.
And we appreciate you expediting it, Andy and commissioners. Thank you.
So I think a motion to provide comments in 2 weeks in allowing me as your agent.
Okay. I would make that motion.
Do you have that written down, the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you
Thanks, y'all.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here to introduction to new community development director for Mission West Community, Emily Park and Steve Claremont.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for seeing us. We're kind of, so Brenna, I think that you guys met Brenna last year at the public hearing, and she has decided to leave Mission West, so that was in effect November 30th, I believe, was her last day. And so I'll kind of let Steve take it from here. He took over for her position, and
Yeah. I've been working at Mission West for the last 6 months in the business development department. I've worked a lot with, or have in the past worked a lot with individual entrepreneurs, helping them develop business plans and prepare to open businesses or grow businesses or conduct unusual type of business for them, including some customers that are here in Mineral County. I've been providing technical assistance to. With Brenna leaving, she had a baby in the last year and decided that she needed to be closer to family in case of an emergency, and her parents were able to come out and spend time with her when they had an illness in the family, but they decided it was just too far away from home, and so she ended up moving back to the Portland area. And so effective, I believe, the first of the month, Jim Thaden has assigned me as the new center director for our community development department. And so I'll be taking over that. The regional EDA and CRDC responsibilities are going to be my primary responsibility. And that's kind of why I came over here, not only for the introduction, but to talk about our regional EDA and CRDC activities that are coming up this year. For our 3-county region with Lake, Sanders, and Mineral counties, we have a new 5-year SEDS document, Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy document that will be developed, and hopefully we'll be able to deliver that on time by the 30th of September. With that, the development of the SEDS, we are going to be holding a regional meeting. We're probably going to be doing that again in Sanders County, so it'll be kind of in the middle, but then we'd like to have maybe a month later public hearing. During the regional meeting, what we were hoping for is we can have presentations from our federal agencies that having projects listed on the SEDS will open up opportunities for EDA funding and potentially other government agencies. So we're going to ask the EDA and Rural Development and a couple other agencies to speak there. Also state CRDC representatives to speak, and then have some breakout sessions where we can talk about priorities for each of the 3 counties. And then from that meeting, we're hoping to have about a month later, organize all of those, the brainstorming session essentially, and come in and have a public hearing here with the community members, so we can kind of, finalize the local Mineral County economic priorities, and then have you guys provide what your ranking would be as far as high, medium, and low. And so we're hoping to do this again around the 15th of February. That's when they've traditionally tried to do this. We wanted to give you guys plenty of time in advance so you can prepare, and of course we can prepare. I'm taking this over and kind of trying to hit the ground running. But we're a little bit late getting started on this SEDS process, and so we spoke with the EDA yesterday, and they said because we just did an addendum a year ago, we don't have as much to change, and we wouldn't expect too many of the priorities to change for the county. But there may be new things that have come up in the last year, particularly with involving the pandemic and other major issues that have developed here in the county. And so with your blessing, we would like to co-host the regional meeting with our representatives from Mineral and Sanders County, and of course with the commissioners as well. So anyways, if you guys have questions for me, if you have any thoughts about that, I'm hoping that we're giving you plenty of advance notice.
Oh,
Yeah.
So those regional meetings, I think previously we've held them kind of in April. We've had one at the Paradise Center. Last year we held it at the 4-H Pavilion. I believe last year, I think maybe Roman came. We kind of have roundtables, breakout sessions like he was saying, where we talk about our housing issues and we talk about all of the different things. So I could see where we maybe incorporate some of those projects that are coming through with ARPA into those conversations. Usually, I believe we usually do our public hearing first. So that will be a little bit of a change in the way that we've usually done things, but I think that this might maybe open us up to new ideas, and possibly with some of the ARPA proposals coming through, we might be able to check some of those things off of our list from last year as well. So it might be a good idea if you guys don't have that community needs list that we came up with last year, let me know, and I've got one here, but I'll send that back out to you, and then if you guys know of any of the projects that have been kind of taken on without my knowledge, you can kind of help check that off so that we aren't visiting the same things over and over. And so you're thinking the regional meeting is February 15th? Is that
Right.
the regional? Okay.
Yeah. I tried a meeting with Jim and some of our team up there, and we decided to try and shoot for that. Sooner rather than later is better for us because there's a lot of work to do after that meeting. And we'll probably hire a facilitator to attend that meeting and kind of run the meeting for us.
Okay. So kind of the way that works is he'll usually send out, or Brenna used to send out a save the date to me. I would forward it to everybody in Mineral County who usually attends that meeting. Any new people that are kind of in the community that are leaders. And then so if you could respond to me and let me know so we can get a head count for lunch and all of the extra stuff. And then of course we would send out an agenda and stuff.
I'm just
Probably a
looking
couple
to see
weeks
when
before.
MACO's midwinter conference is. I know it's in February, so it's February 28th through March 2nd, so we'll get there.
In the current SEDS action item list, we have a lot of items. Essentially, the entire list is.
They actually have that in that green folder there. Is there?
Okay, good.
That's
good.
the one that we have.
It's there's a lot of activities in there, but right now they all say that they're the primary organization is Lake County Community Development, now Mission West. What I've talked to Jim about is trying to capture other priorities that aren't necessarily traditional economic development priorities, like bridge work, road work, infrastructure, any type of infrastructure that you need. What we're hoping is that we can, through that process, if we can get those identified as priorities, Lake County Community Development or Mission West wouldn't be the lead organization. Maybe it would be your roads department or something like that. And so we would, at the end of the annual reporting requirements that we have to do, we'd be reaching out again to perhaps Emily to facilitate communication with the different departments that may own those priorities. We certainly wouldn't want to run a bridge project over here, that certainly is should be managed by the local representatives that are responsible for those activities. And so we're trying to expand the amount of projects that are identified in the SEDS, but we want to make sure that we have champions that are local representatives for those, and when we need to, we'll fill in as that person until we have a placeover. We may have low priorities that we may not have resources to assign to those yet, and maybe they just stay as low priorities, and we have them as unassigned. But that would be kind of a change so that we can have more projects, more activity that's happening in the county identified on the SEDS, so that if the possibility of funding through the EDA can be realized, they would have that opportunity to get that because of they're identified on the SEDS in advance.
So I believe that this year we are, in past years, we've always done the SEDS. They send it out to me. I kind of go through and, there's a hospital section, there's a school section, and I have kind of just divvied that up and sent it to, I believe Ron Gleason, when he was here, he may have done the hospitals, and then, of course, Scott and Joe kind of work on with the schools getting some of that stuff. I always make sure that all of our stats are up to date and everything. But I believe that this year they want to go to creating a committee to actually come together and discuss all of that. So that would be a little bit of a change. I think that that's great because, my perspective on things is a lot different from other people's. And so to be able to have that kind of a conversation with, 6 to 8 people, it would kind of be the same makeup of people, somebody from the hospital, somebody from the school district, somebody from probably from the Forest Service, trying to hit all of our different resources and maybe funding avenues at the same time, so that when we come together to kind of brainstorm these priorities and what kind of state our community's in right now, that we can kind of converse with each other and say, oh, well, maybe the hospital can match some funding for this, or, so we have a kind of a clearer idea going into those community needs meetings as to what kind of capacity we actually have already in the community.
We did notice too, I've found the SEDS committee list. There are a number of positions that are open or not there's no one assigned to the committee, and so that was one of the things I mentioned to Emily, is if there are stakeholders that are key positions in the county, we'd like input maybe, and then that gives me an opportunity, or Emily an opportunity, to ask them if they would serve on that committee. We want to get local priorities from within the county, and then have you guys assign what your priorities would be. We also have to go through a process of having the region assign what the entire region's priorities are, and we want to make sure that at least all of the high stuff is going to be covered right away. And so, but with the SEDS committee, if there are key stakeholders that you would like to have on there, if you could provide those names to Emily, and if you have contact information, we will reach out and ask them if they would be willing to serve on the committee. It's an unpaid position, of course, right. But we're doing it for the economic development efforts of the county and the region. And so, if there's people that you think of that might be willing to serve, we'd certainly like to be able to reach out and ask them if they would represent Mineral County within the region. And also, when we have our SEDS committee meetings, they will be determining the final makeup of the SEDS document and the SED report. And so we want to make sure that Mineral County has equal representation to the rest of the counties.
So are you thinking that we would have like a local SEDS committee where we kind of focus on just our communities, and then after all of the individual communities do that, we would come together as a region and maybe have 2 or 3 meetings to kind of hash out what the overall priorities are?
I think for the purpose of the region, what the EDA would like to see is a regional group. However, if you would like to have them meet locally so that you can really firm up what the things are that you want to see addressed at the highest with the highest priorities, we don't have any issues with that, and would be happy to to come over here and be part of that as well.
Okay.
I would be doing that, and Karen Delwell as well. Karen will be my assistant through this, and I think she's charging about half her time to to this process.
Okay, I just know that our volunteer base is kind of low, and so, you know, if we were to have 8 to 10 people that could meet here and kind of hash out things, and then maybe 2 or 3 attend some of those bigger SEDS committee meetings, I think that they would be able to relate that information over there on behalf of the whole group, but it would be easier to get 2 people together than it would be to get 8 together as a regional meeting, more than one time. You know, I think that if just to have the regional meeting in February, usually we do one in like February and one in the fall, you know, those are easier if it's just one, but once you start to get a series of meetings going, then you see less and less involvement from people, and then you get to the point where you don't get any input at all. It's just another meeting on the list. So I would think that if we could get, you know, something established locally and then send a couple of people over, I think that would probably be the best. Do you guys have any comment on that? Is that kind of...
No, I think that sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Because it's hard to get people together as it is. And
Yeah.
Certainly easier locally, I think, rather than
Right,
you
yeah.
know, regionally, and we're certainly open to doing Zoom meetings and things like that, so that it makes it easier for everybody to attend without having to
Right.
drive over.
Yeah.
Roads were pretty bad this morning, and
Yeah.
I'm even going to go the interstate back to home because it was so bad between Paradise and St. Regis today.
I was curious, and that's why I didn't call, because I was like, well, if he's coming over 135, I'm not gonna even try to get him to
Right.
look
Ain't
at
got no
his
service
phone.
there anyway. I mean,
No,
No.
kind of spotty.
You know, it's funny because as soon as I hit Sanders County line, you could tell it'd been plowed, and Mineral County was plowed well too. I know that I haven't spent a lot of time in Mineral County, but was born in Sanders County, and I know that they do a really great job getting out, and that wherever there's school bus rolling down the road, they have them plowed, and I'm sure it's the same here.
Yeah, it is. That's #1 priority.
Yeah.
But that road is such a, you know, it's so shaded and it's,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, sun didn't hit me until I was
No.
5 miles out of St. Regis.
Yeah, it's dark in there all the time, and
Yeah.
yeah,
There wasn't any traffic though. That was nice.
yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
only traffic
That's
I
the
see-
one good thing,
Yeah.
other than a few hundred deer and elk.
Yeah.
A few sheep once in a while
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the only traffic I saw was 2 groups of cars that were kind of bunched together, and the first group had a snowplow in front of it going towards Quinns, and the other group was about a couple miles behind them, and you know, I was pretty impressed. And the snowplow driver was out, had his blade down on the ground, was throwing gravel out.
Good.
Well, that place is sure taken off, hasn't it, Quinn's?
Boy, I can't believe all the development they've been able to do.
And they're gonna do some more, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing. There's a lot of money that went into
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Is that a Mineral County property?
No,
No,
it's
I
in
wish
San
it
Luis.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it
was,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. Where's the county line over there?
Just this side of Donlin Flats.
Yeah, right where you start to drop down that little dip there, just
Mm-hmm.
back from Don, or this way from Donlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to being able to serve the county and the region in my new capacity, and I will still be working with individual entrepreneurs in a limited capacity. We're trying to get additional people hired over there to replace myself and Karen's work with the with technical assistance providing for entrepreneurs, and so. You know, I'm really looking forward to working with you folks in the future and working with Emily as we continue to try and serve the county to, you know, your best interests.
All right.
Yeah. Well, good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
You guys have any other questions or anything? Or?
I think so.
Well, tell Roman I'm sorry I missed him, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know if any of you have been asked to serve on the SEDS committee or on the board of directors for Mission West. I know they were trying
That's
to.
Roman.
That's Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably who they will expect to be part of the SEDS committee. My management has told me that normally most of the work can be done within our board of directors because it's well represented by the SEDS committee, but I want to make sure that we just have good representation and that you guys are aware. And so if Roman's already serving in that capacity, I'll look forward to meeting him too.
Yeah, so Roman is as the chair of the commission, and then Jim Debris is serving on behalf of our organization, the MCEDC. So we do have 2 members that are on that board of directors over there.
Okay.
Whether or not they've attended any meetings, that I don't know. But there was 2 that Billy got committed to being signed up on that, so.
Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't even met with our board of directors yet, or even the commissioners. You guys were the first commissioners I've reached out to. I only answered the phone first when I started calling out to other regions, and so I'm actually meeting with you folks even before I'm meeting with our own Lake County commissioners. We're scheduled to get in to meet with them next week, and I'm still trying to figure out when I can see the Sanders County commissioners. So I'll be calling Ray.
Been kind of a change of guard up there, so.
It's going to be interesting
Yeah.
trying to find a replacement for Carol. She's
Oh.
an
Yeah.
institution there.
Man, no kidding. Yeah.
Yep.
Don't be sorry for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how long she has left on her term?
She resigned.
Yeah.
Well, I know that she resigned, and
I think the first of the year.
wasn't
so.
it
Yeah.
the mayor that resigned to take her spot for now?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
I saw an article, somebody resigned from their position to be interim to hers, but I wasn't sure how much longer she had left on her
Yeah,
term.
I think the end of the year, or 1st of January,
Yeah, that's what I had heard
the
too.
end of December she was done.
Ray said something about them having a going away party for her. I don't know if it's next week. I'll find out. So, but it'll be there at the courthouse as well. So, yeah, it's going to be big shoes to fill there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Billy Lee told me that she was really the cornerstone of being able to establish this region and being able to get certified with the CRDC program in the state and the EDA. So you commissioners are very important to all of us.
Okay,
I don't think I'd have
Well,
anything
we don't
else.
have anything else. Thank you for coming, and
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for your time.
safe trip back.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
yeah.
And thank you for your time.
Okay, we're here for Superior Senior Citizen Center Needs presentation. Tamara Starkle.
Hi, I'm Tamara.
Hi.
Nice to meet
Nice
you guys.
meeting you.
This is Will and this is Mary. Will works at the senior center, does all the cooking and baking and all that. And Mary's the president, and I'm just gonna turn it over. I kind of called to see how to get on your agenda. And so then I'm just gonna turn it over to those two, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
If
Thank
you
you.
could get signed in there
Yes.
too, that would
Do
be
you want
great.
all of our names?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You want to sign for all of us?
Yes.
Okay, it's Murphy Kellis, not just Kellis.
Yes, it is in my phone that way too.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mary, and I'm with the Senior Center. I'm the president of the, I'm going to lose this. You want to hang on that for me? I'm the president of the committee for the Senior Center, and I've been president for almost 2 years.
Is this the Superior one?
Superior Senior Center, yes. We have been in that building for over 20 years. We just recently, last year, our 15-year lease expired. We had a terrible time getting an extension on our lease, and our lease expires in June. We don't know yet whether the new pastor is going to allow us to continue to use the senior center or if we have to find another place. Part of the problem is membership is increasing dramatically. We've gone from maybe 20 meals a week to over 60, and Will can attest to that. Jessica Williams, can attest to that. She's our cook, and it's been a real struggle to get that many meals out of that small of a kitchen, which it is very small. This kitchen is probably about as wide as this table.
Prep table is, and yeah, skidding, so.
So anyway, yeah, the area to move around in is about that wide.
I can test. I worked there.
Anyway, we had 63 meals served this week. That includes dine-in, takeout, and delivery. We deliver meals to shut-ins. Anybody over 90 gets a free meal. We don't charge them. We don't charge anybody for a meal. We have a suggested amount that to defray the cost of the meals. Probably 20 to 25 2 years ago, and it's up to 60. It was 63 this week, and we expect it to keep on growing. There's probably 50 who come on a rotating basis all the time. So we're outgrowing the building, and we need a new building. The kitchen needs a major remodel to be up to a reasonable level of usability. We have 2 stoves, a dishwasher, a 3-tub sink in there, plus a prep table in the kitchen. There's no room in the kitchen for our refrigerators, and we have 3 in what used to be our office. We had to move the office to make room for our freezers. We have a pantry that's, 12 feet long in what used to be our office. And because of the volume of food that we put out, we're needing more space to store food. We have a freezer, a chest freezer, that's in the room that's used by our foot clinic. It takes up a big corner of the foot clinic, and it really shouldn't be in there. She needs to have all that room for herself. The kitchen also has plumbing leaks. The drains are slow. We need a bigger exhaust fan. The exhaust fan in there is way inadequate.
It's so hot.
Yes.
It's not actually up to code.
It's not up to code, no. The furnace needs to be replaced. It's every fall we have to massage the furnace to get it to work right. Every spring we have to work on the air conditioning to get it to work right. We don't own the building, and we can't make any physical changes to the building because of that. And we don't know what's going to happen when our lease expires in June. I've been trying to get a hold of Pastor Dameron, the new pastor of the Baptist church next door to us. They own the building, and I've been unable to reach him. We have several programs besides meals, and we do a lot for this community. We have as I mentioned, the foot care clinic. We have a lending library in there with an extensive group of books in there. We have a durable medical equipment lending closet for any senior citizen who needs DME. We can go through there and probably find pretty much what anybody needs. Walkers, wheelchairs, porta potties, transport chairs, crutches, canes, just about anything you'd want. It's all in this small closet and in the furnace room, and it's all stacked up on each other, so we have to pull everything out to find what we're looking for. So we need a fairly good sized room for our DME closet. We've been given some options for a new building, and what we'd really, really like to do is have a building that would encompass the library, the museum, and have a community center in there that anybody could use. We could really use a building such as this. If failing that, we would like to have a building large enough that we could feed 100 people easily, sitting down to eat. At this time, we're not seating 63 people. We did not seat 63 people because of COVID. We have a lot of takeout meals, and we have a lot of delivery meals. But we still have a group of people who, they're lonely. They want to talk to somebody. They want to sit down and have a visit with people, and they come in and they sit down and they will eat their dinner, and it's everything we can do to get them to leave when we're done, because they're so lonely for conversation that we have to actually tell them that, we're done, we have to go home now. Because people are lonely, and the congregate meals is one way for people to connect with other people. And that's why we offer congregate meals. In the summertime, we put tables out on the grass, and everybody sits out there and has a picnic out on the lawn in front. And they really enjoy that this summer. We also have potlucks where people can bring their favorite foods and we can share around. We're going to have one the Wednesday before Christmas. We're going to have a congregate meal with potluck, and we'll have a Christmas party with sing-alongs and games and whatnot and so forth. We also, let's see.
Exercise classes.
Oh, we have things that we would like to do in there in our building. We have an insurance company come in from Missoula, and she's been coming in every other Wednesday since the 1st of October and discussing people's Medicaid options. That's one thing we do for people, and she makes private appointments, and she'll sit down with people quietly to the side or at their homes and discuss their Medicare options. We used to have Pinochle, but because of COVID, we had to shut that down. We used to have bingo. We had to close that down. We have a person who would like to use our building for an exercise class twice a week because the building they're in has no heat where they are and it's too cold. We'd like to have a cooking class. We've had it suggested several times. People want to know how Will makes what she does, and she would like to be able to teach them. We used to have Lenten lunches there. I don't know if you've been to our Lenten lunches. Lenten lunches was organized to every Tuesday during Lent. Every church in town would organize people to bring in a soup and a bread. And we would sit down and everybody would have soup and bread for lunch, and then we'd take donations, and those donations would go to somebody who needed it desperately. Say, for instance, the family in Alberton who lost their home, they would get a donation. We donated a lot of money to the swimming pool and things like that. We can't have the Lenten lunches because of COVID. If we had a building that was large enough, we could seat people far enough apart that we could have this kind of things again. We have potluck dinners, we have a Christmas party, we have bake sales. We just had a bake sale and we made over $600. And the money that we collect on those bake sales and things is used to upgrade equipment in our kitchen, which is desperately needed. Some of that equipment has been there since before they put the river through.
Veterans.
Oh yeah, we also have the veterans, the VA, the veterans, what is it?
They do they host a dinner once a year, and any veteran that wants to come in and have a free meal, all the food is donated, and they come in and have a hot meal.
It's not the DAV, yeah, it's the DAV.
Is it through the DAV?
Yes.
Yes, it's the DAV. And
Sorry, I'm really nervous. This is the first time I've met you guys and been at this. I'm like, woo. So yeah.
so, yes, and Will, would you take over for me? Because I've gone through all my notes here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of new to all this. I don't know exactly what resources you guys offer or how you could help, but we are seeking help. And so we're reaching out to everybody because the senior center is essential for this community. We can't not have this program, and we need some solutions. So we're just anyone who can help, if you can point us the right direction, and not knowing if we can continue to use this building, and we only have 6 months to find a solution at this point. COVID especially has been detrimental to the senior population because they can't go do anything. They can't get out. It's been awful. We've had so much depression and so much, sickness just from the lack of, them not being able to come and do the normal things. Like said, Pinochle got shut down, Bingo got shut down, and it's been absolutely detrimental for our senior population, which I think is a good percentage of the town. And we have to keep this program thriving, and offer these services because there is little right now for the seniors, and especially social-wise, like Mary said, it's these people want to come in and be able to talk, and even the takeout meals, the people that come in and pick it up for spouses, even that little interaction, you can see how happy people are to get out and just to be, even for the 10, 20 minutes maybe they're there, it's important for them, and we want to make sure that this program has what it needs to provide the services for these people, and it is growing, and we would the seating area actually, it has now become a problem because so many people are coming, and a lot of people don't want to stay because of, COVID or whatever, and that's fine. But people would be able to stay and eat if we had adequate seating. So we're looking for whatever help we can because we do have a problem, and we need to start working on a resolution for it. So thank you for meeting with us today about it.
You talked to Liz Gupton about the old school, the lunchroom there,
Yeah, we just were discussing it.
The senior center was in the old school for 5 years.
Oh.
And they left because the furnace in there is probably the original furnace. There's been a lot of modifications made to it. I was talking to my brother yesterday. We went through grade school there. I was in the 5th grade through grade school, and the furnace was always breaking down. And the gentleman who was the maintenance man did a lot of modifications to the furnace, and it's still the same furnace. There's so many changes to that furnace that it can't be repaired anymore. So the building itself is, the heating is problematical. Another problem with that school is the ceilings are so high that all the heat is up there and not down here where people are. The window panes in the windows are not adequate. They're single pane windows, I believe. So all the heat goes right out through the windows. You might as well have an open door. So we really don't want to go into the old schoolhouse.
It's for sale. Didn't you say something?
Yeah, it is for sale. It's on the
So-
National Historic List, which is sad, which is great, but then sad too because it's such an iconic building for Superior that it would be great if it was used as a community and in that and stuff. But like Mary says, it does need a lot of updating. I know that they've put some money into it, but I don't know. I haven't researched what all he has saying what they'll replace and what they won't. And so, yeah. So we thought,
But we have looked into that option.
but we have looked into
We're
that.
going to talk to
them, yeah.
owners.
But from what I could tell, they really want to just sell it. There is another. I was told there was somebody looking at it, but I don't know if that's just what he was saying or if it's true or not. I don't know. I just wasn't sure if really that was a way. Because it's going to take so much money to make it.
I do know that in the band room, which was at the very top of the building, there's dry rot in the floors because the windows kept coming open and they'd stay open for days. And of course, in the wintertime, or the weather would get in, and it was so there is dry rot up there. So there is an issue with that. We really don't. I could say that the building, the cafeteria, which it was previously whipped up, is probably large enough, but the kitchen is totally not adequate. It's the original equipment from when the school was built in, 1908?
And then it was somewhat updated in 1947. It was kind of that kitchen and gymnasium was somewhat updated. And so I've not gone in and actually looked at the facility itself.
But there's a reason why every restaurant that was ever in there has moved out.
Yeah, has moved out. And there's been several. Yeah.
And it's hard with that being a historical building there. We ran into that when we did the energy update here in the courthouse. The windows are supposed to be matching the whatever year that window was put in there, and finding windows, getting windows right now. My son's a contractor, just getting a house built, and yet try and find a window for something like that. It's really difficult.
Anything made of glass is getting very difficult. My cousin bought a house in Helena, and she can't move in. They did get the windows in finally, but there's not a mirror in her house in any of the bathrooms.
Right? No, it is very true. I've looked at properties that are for sale, and they're not big enough. There are some that are like 0.38, 0.21 on 4th Avenue, but I wasn't sure if like the county had property in themselves that could be usable. I spoke with Jim Morton, who did the grant for the St. Regis senior center, and he is more than willing to help us do that grant as well. But he said our first option would be is to find a place, either a building or a piece of land, and then he would be more than happy to help us write the grants. They got between 300,000 and 500,000 is what they got for that. He wasn't really sure because he wasn't at a place that he could go in and physically look at the dollar amount, but he was like, if you could get at least it started, and that's why we're here, because this is the first place, he would be more than happy to help us get money to do this. But where do you go? I mean, I've been here, let's see, my family is from Montana, my husband's whole family, his parents were teachers in Ronan. We've owned our 12 acres since 2005, and we just recently moved back full-time 2.5 years ago. And we just opened up a little rental on our property. The yurt over there on Dairy, that's me. And so, but I just love this community, and I just want to see it become like St. Regis and these other ones where people want to come through. We get so much traffic, and it would just be really nice to see this town be a town, and people care, and there's places to do. And I mean, I'm talking to the Chamber of Commerce and even putting my little teeny business on there to say, hey, yeah, come to our town. And then we have a meeting. I didn't get on the agenda, unfortunately, because it's so short of time, with the mayor on Monday, because I've never met her. I don't even know what she looks like. There's not even a picture of her anywhere. And I was asking Brenda, like, what does she look like? I want to say hi to her, but just say, hey, we have this need. Be part of this. Come help us. Because there isn't. My grandma and my great-grandma were great influences. They were big in their community in helping the senior program. And that's how I grew up. And so I would like to see the same here, because I'm going to be there soon. I turn 55 next month. And I want it to be here, and even for him when he gets here. And so we're just asking, what do we do? Please help us, because it is we're at this very stage where we're desperate now to do something.
I think, have you talked to Emily Park?
I've left her a message, yes.
She was just here. You
Oh,
just
Yeah, you just missed her.
Yeah.
darn, I don't even know what she looks like.
yeah.
Yeah, because, and I started out talking to, it was one, I called Brenda and said, who is the mayor? And this is how it started. And within, maybe 4 days, this is where we're at.
Cool.
And so I've left messages with people, and I haven't got any calls back yet. I know everybody's busy, and it's Thanksgiving, and Christmas is coming, but yeah. Do you know of any available land that you guys own?
Well, we've got a piece up by the hospital there. I don't know if it would be big enough.
I don't know either. We'd have to look.
Yeah, we'd have to look.
I've looked at that property. I actually, when we were looking to build a community center in Superior, that was one of the properties that we actually looked at. It's on a slope. It would be perfect to build a 2-story building, have one floor be like a community center / senior center, meals downstairs, and have the library and the museum upstairs. Because it's on a slope, you could have a parking lot on the back side for the upstairs and a parking lot on the front side for the downstairs. I've actually looked at that property.
Well, I know that we're in the process of building a new bus barn up there for the Pioneer Council.
Okay.
But I don't know where that's sitting right now. It's
Right.
kind of was put on hold.
Because I know the library
Yeah.
needs to be bigger. I know they've been talking, it's just so small, and it's such a great place. There's so many people that use it, but combining all of this and everybody, it would make more sense.
There are community development block grants, and that's how St. Regis got that senior center.
Yeah,
there
that's what he
built.
said. And he said, and he couldn't emphasize enough, you got to get on this now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
But that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It takes time to
It
go
does
through
take
that
time.
process, and yeah.
But he said the only way we can even begin to know is you need an area, you need a spot, you need either a piece of land or a building, and then what we do is once we get that, then we
You
fill
got
out all
any
the
idea
paperwork.
how big a piece you would actually need?
It would be up to them. Like I'm just helping the senior center. do it. Like they just
Mhm.
send me here and like go do all this. So that would be what they would need to talk about too. And,
I tell you
yeah.
the truth, I don't even know what's left there for,
Yeah, I don't either. We'd have to check with Andy.
with
and
after
see.
the bus barn deal. And why did it get put on hold? I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah,
I forget now. Monty had a
Acre lot, right?
sent out an email. There was
Yeah,
it
we
was
would
sent
need
out
at
an
least an
email.
acre.
At least, I think.
at least an acre.
Yeah, because we need parking.
Parking. So I would say at least an acre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least an
Yeah.
acre. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have
But
to
doing
look
the
and see.
2-story would help because you're not going out.
Right.
You're just going up. Yeah.
One thing about that kind of a building, the Historical Society, the museum and the Historical Society, of which I'm a member, doesn't want to move away from the library because they loan each other books all the time. They refer to each other and they want to be in the same building no matter where they are. And that would give them an opportunity to be in a larger area. The museum is encompassed in 3 very small rooms.
Yeah.
They have a space in the basement that's all this material that could be put out and displayed.
It should be put out.
It
Yes.
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a grant that was offered to us by Tricon Timber and to build an addition to the museum to put equipment in from the Tricon. We were offered a collection of antique chainsaws by Savanac Nursery, somebody at Savanac. We had no place to put it, so we couldn't accept them, and we lost those. If we had a new building with plenty of room, the museum would be able to expand, put more things out. There's a lot of things that people donate for the museum that never see the light of day.
Be a great attraction for Superior to
Yeah.
have
It would.
Yeah.
a neat
Would.
museum of the history
Yeah.
of it.
There's,
yeah.
I used to go to Oregon a lot. I lived in Oregon for 25 years, 5 years in Nevada. And on the way to Oregon, and actually on the way to Nevada, there's a place out there in eastern Oregon between Umatilla and Warren. I forget the name of the little town out there, but it's called Sage, and it's a community center, and it's farming cooperative center, and they have meeting halls, and they have all kinds of things in there, and that's what I'd like to see Superior have, because they have this big sign next to the freeway, and people get off the freeway in that little town and drive over there to see what this Sage building is. And I would like to see Superior have that kind of thing. Mineral County Museum. We had the opportunity to combine with the Railroading Museum in Alberton. The gentleman who owned it, or the lady that owned it, was not interested anymore in having it because he lives in Havre. We could have had all of the Railroading Museum in Alberton in the Mineral County Museum. But there was no space. If we had a place where we could have a community center, the museum, the library, all in one building, it would make it a lot easier.
And the library is so important for the kids. I mean, it's such an essential.
They have such great programs there.
And they're really
Homeschool
trying
kids
to outreach, but there's no space. I mean, they can't do. They're
They do
cramming
it in
these
the
kids
hallway.
in the hallway or in that little room,
In
and
the lobby or whatever.
but they're really trying to provide programs, and I really appreciate what they're doing, and I would love to see that expand because it's very important to us too. I mean, we go to the library twice a week.
Do you like
I
the
mean,
library?
We love it, and we
Yeah.
definitely, that's the other concern, not just the seniors, is for the kids as well, to have a good place, because it's essential, especially for homeschoolers that use it for a lot of their learning resources, which there are a lot that are participating at the library right now. So,
I was just reading this morning about a Monday morning meet and greet, and the kids can come in and
Yep.
meet other homeschool children and
Yep,
whatnot.
it's one of the programs they're trying to put on, but they even we're holding programs outside because there wasn't enough room to get the kids in, and they stopped doing the program because of COVID restrictions. They didn't have the space to put that many kids inside for story time, so now we're just not doing story time. And it's sad to see that happen over, especially COVID, but they're running into the same problem, is that they don't have adequate room to do the things that they want to do and give the kids the resources. So I think it would be great
And
to.
Superior is growing. There's a younger and younger community coming in. I know quite a few people who would like to move out here, but what is
There's no
offered?
housing and-
Well, housing, but even what's offered, because it's not just the town here, which is I live 1.4 miles, so I'm considered out of town, but yet a lot of these people that live right outside of the town support this town. We shop here. I've spent enough money at Superior Color and Lumber. That's probably why they moved. As many houses as we built through them. Love Nate and all of the guys there, but it just needs more and something else, and it would, yeah.
So would you suggest we move forward with looking at the grants? I mean, and
Well,
Yeah,
we have
that-
to find a place first. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys could help
Well,
us
we need
figure
to-
out.
Yeah,
We can take a look and see just what we got out there. I couldn't tell you what we have left there.
Okay.
I know we were talking with the Pioneer Council on the bus barn, and I thought they were fairly close, but. apparently
Yeah,
not.
there was a thing that, I don't know, somebody quit or whatever, so it was kind of put on hold for a little
Oh.
bit. Their bookkeeper or something
Huh.
quit, and so
Whatever.
it was just kind of put on hold for a little bit,
Right.
so.
Can I ask a question? Why the community hasn't bought the old school and be part of the community? If it's because it's privately owned, if it's on the National, Historic Society.
That would probably be a question to ask at the mayor's
Oh,
meeting.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be
See,
the,
that's
I
a
mean,
good point. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I
what
suppose
to
the
ask.
county could buy it if, we don't have the money to buy it.
Exactly, but like long time ago. It's just a
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. At one time they were gonna, when they built the new school down there, they were gonna abandon that and demolish it. And-
Yeah, let me tell you a story
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, that just breaks my
My
heart.
dad was building a house out on Diamond Road, and he was waiting for them to demolish it because he was gonna go get all the
The
windows.
bricks. Oh,
Oh.
the
Oh,
windows.
and the bricks. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Take
the
all the
bricks,
pieces,
yeah, and he
yeah.
was gonna use
Oh,
them
that
to
just breaks
support
my
his
heart. I love
house.
old
I don't
buildings.
know
Oh.
if you remember my dad, John Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh.
Think he might have wrote me a
Cry.
speeding ticket one time.
Oh
You know, he always bragged that he never gave a speeding ticket to a woman. He never gave a ticket to a woman.
no! Oh.
But I know that he did because he gave 2 to my mother.
And I know he gave it to some teenage boys because I got one from. And I didn't even think I was speeding. But
Do you have any questions for us?
I just want to compliment your cook. All I hear about
Yes.
the Superior Senior
Oh.
Center is how great your meals
Oh,
are.
thank
Yes.
you.
I've never
Yeah.
come over there and ate over there, but I do hear a lot of good things.
You
I got
should,
goosebumps.
Me too.
you should come
know you
for
knew
dinner.
about it,
We'll-
so.
In fact, if you came, we'd buy you and your wife dinner.
All right.
Yeah.
And you
Might
too.
have to come
Yeah.
down sometime.
Yeah. Come
Any
in.
Wednesday between, 4:30 and
We start
5:30?
at 4:30.
4:30.
Please come
Wednesday
look
on
at
4th.
the
And
facility.
if you want to call me and let me know you're coming, so I can make sure there's enough food, because that's the
Oh,
problem.
yeah, that's
Because
a lot of
get
people.
to the point, where
Do
if
you have
I
the number?
don't
Right. yeah.
keep track of it, I don't want to not have enough food
Yep.
for somebody. So we,
Well, I'll
The
give you a
number,
call.
the telephone
Okay.
number
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
You can give
But
it
keep
to
up the good work.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
And we'll see what we can
Yeah,
do here
we'll,
and
yeah,
find
see
out
what
about
we have
land. And,
for-
We brag that
The
Will is the
property
best
and-
kept secret in Superior.
Oh, I was gonna get a
But,
phone number.
well, I don't think it's a secret anymore.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
But Emily, because she, she does the, she's kind of in charge of the economic development,
Yep.
and she knows
There's a
all the
message.
grants.
Her answering machine.
Yeah, she was just here.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
In fact, I had Dawn text to see if she was over at the extension office.
Okay.
And, I don't know if she headed back to St. Regis or not, but
Okay.
Emily would definitely be the one to talk to.
All right. Well, thank you for
Okay,
listening.
the number
You bet.
at the senior center is 822-3334. Now, what's the dinner next week?
next week we're doing baked chicken with roasted tomatoes.
Oh, chicken's my favorite.
All right, well, you better. I'll put you down for 2 minutes. I'll keep track. I have my board. I got to keep all my people are organized.
Yes, they're famous for. Yeah.
Wacky
No, we're all
cake.
done.
Wacky cake.
Wacky cake.
And at the senior center, we serve dessert first because life is short.
That's right.
And they're very serious about
She's not.
dessert.
She's with that guy and they're just traveling out too.
Oh,
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll email her and just
Yes.
sign
Yeah.
it with you,
Yep.
and there is
Yeah.
a voicemail somewhere in her.
Yeah,
list
she's
of-
very good about returning, so I'm surprised that you haven't had a call back yet. But shoot her an email and I'll let her know that you're trying to reach her and it will all come together.
Okay, and if you come up with anything, let them know, or
Yeah.
let me know.
Um,
Or,
As I said previously, my name is Mary Murphy Kellis, and my phone number is 406-515-0205.
Mary, are you signed in so I'll have the spelling of your last name?
yes,
It's
Okay.
Put Brenner in there.
Brenner,
Yeah.
can we put Brenner too? Yes.
because he was here.
I always forget.
Always forget about Brenner.
I never do. I always write him down.
Yeah, we're, exactly.
Brenna's a regular at our
do you have
senior days.
Emily's email?
Brenna comes weekly to our
Is it
senior center, and he has more grandmothers and grandfathers than anybody else in
And you
town.
got her phone number?
822-3545?
That's over there.
Oh.
Like, her cell phone is 406
Okay.
280 0184.
0184. Okay, no, I didn't have her cell. I just had the office number. Okay, I'll do that. I'll give her
Yep.
a call. Thank you.
You
Very
bet.
nice meeting you.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
Yeah,
guys.
you too.
Yep.
Appreciate
No
it.
Do
problem.
you have any questions for us? I mean, we've tried to answer everything that.
No, it's
Yeah.
good presentation.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Did you know that the senior center was kind of needing a building or trouble?
Well, we've talked
Yeah.
in the past, and talked about the community center and just trying to find the money and a place for it all to go, and yeah.
Hands out.
Yeah, we've
If we
been.
can get a grant, we can get started on it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll call Jim today and ask him if he can start the grant process, and that they're looking at some land that they own and seeing if that'll work. But at least if we could get the paperwork in the process, I'll call him
Okay.
later on today.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, and then I'll call Emily as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Good meeting you.
You too. Brother. Oh.